Hello everyone, good evening, welcome to Talking Reds, where we bring you the latest Liverpool news and transfer news and much more. Again, another weekend of transfer rumours. Florian Wirtz is heating up. Frimpong is almost close to joining Liverpool. Kerkez could be next after Frimpong counter reports. And we'll be discussing other situations as well. Luis Diaz. We're also going to be talking a little bit on last night's game. I ain't done a match reaction of last night's game. I hadn't had time today to do a match reaction, so I want to give you a little bit of my match reaction from last night because I wasn't happy with the performance as a whole, but results don't really matter right now. But I'm still not happy, and I still have up here for the specific games. Patricia's joining me just now. Welcome everyone. Make sure you do, if you are new to Talking Reds, make sure you do subscribe to the channel, and also please, it would help us out massively by liking the video. It helps us massively in the YouTube world. Thank you for joining me, Patricia, tonight. Florian Wirtz, Milos Kerkez, Jeremie Frimpong, it's all kicking off in the last certainly 24 to 48 hours, I'd say, especially the Wirtz situation. Frimpong is pretty much at a medical today. That is according to reports as well. The medical is pretty much done. I'm expecting over the next 24 hours, Jeremie Frimpong to be finalised. Are you?
Yeah, that's what they said. That's what Romano said as well. So Fabrizio has basically stated that obviously he's been all successful and that he expects the signature to be up with Liverpool shortly within the next 24 hours. So hopefully we'll see something tonight. We'll see a smile on Frimpong's face with a red shirt signing the contract. We're lovely to see. And we move on to the next signings.
One thing I will say, make sure you do smash that like, hit that subscribe button, and get your notification bells on as well, because I will be live as soon as that Frimpong news out. I will get as soon as I can get to you guys, and I will let you know when that Frimpong deal is done. Let's start with Florian Wirtz, the main guy, the main one that's been spoken about. Bayern Munich, Liverpool, fighting for his signature, and then who comes involved? Who gets involved? Who has to throw their hat into the mix? Real Madrid. According to Radio Marca, Real Madrid have gone into the race for Florian Wirtz, probably the last team that we needed to, not because it's Real Madrid, but mainly because Xabi Alonso. Xabi Alonso, obviously leaving Leverkusen to join Real Madrid as manager, will want to bring his star player with him. And what a better way for Wirtz to easily mix into the team, by the way, with his manager. I think it's probably the easiest thing he could do, Wirtz, if Real Madrid are a serious option here.
Yeah, and I think to be fair, whether it comes to us or it goes to Madrid or Bayern or whatever, he'll suit them perfectly, especially for Madrid. Obviously, he'd be like a Modric replacement, be that 10 that can facilitate the passes up to Mbappe and Vini just to get them on their bikes. And hopefully that's not the case. And if he does come to Liverpool, he could do the same for Salah. I think it's difficult because you're asking for a lot of money, hence why City backed out of it. And normally with these sort of big name players, we seem to throw our hat in the ring, and then it seems to be we'll back out as soon as like many like clubs come into it, especially with like Madrid coming into it. But it doesn't seem, from reports today, it doesn't seem like we're willing to back down at all. Obviously, it's fully on what Wirtz wants. At the end of the day, well, we could pitch or how much we want to pitch, or whether if we're meeting the asking prices, then we are. But it depends if he wants to stay in Germany or challenge something else. He's won the Bundesliga. Now it depends if he fancies giving the Prem a go or going over to La Liga. Only time will tell what he chooses.
According to many journalists, like producer just said there, we're placing ourselves on the edge right now. It's not quite fully involved, but what we're doing is we're waiting for Wirtz's go ahead, if that makes sense. If he wants to leave Germany, then Liverpool are first front of the queue. You know, Paul Joyce come out and said this, Louis Steele's come out and said this, Romano's repeatedly said this as well. Xabi Alonso wants Florian Wirtz at Real Madrid. I said that to Radio Marca. So Louis Steele came out today and said Florian Wirtz likes the idea of Liverpool. Liverpool are going to push hard for him, and the money is there. He also went on to say that he has a sneaky feeling regarding Florian Wirtz. The noises are positive. Not that a deal will be done, but that there's no negative noise to suggest it won't be done. So it's all looking good for Florian Wirtz. Really is. And a man who come out just recently, Florian Wirtz was quite open to listening to Liverpool project. Liverpool are prepared to pay important money. Bayern Munich maintain their confidence. Decision is up to the player. The financial agreement between Liverpool and Bayer Leverkusen for Florian Wirtz is not seen as a potential issue. And I've always said, look, Liverpool have always been able to spend money on players. It's just whether it gets allowed to spend money on players. When they're one of the richest clubs in the world, we just don't act like it. Now it's, for me, I think it is time to act like it had been with likes of Florian Wirtz, because there's a chance there to get an absolute talent, a player that's one of the best young talents in world football. And if he's open to joining, I think we should do everything we can. But it just seems to be, for me, if they're waiting on the outside, is leaving it down to the player. And it's, again, just waiting around.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like enough people are getting into his ear about what to do. It seems to be, obviously, if he was going to go to Bayern Munich, it seems to be obviously the club will have to, Leverkusen will have to, Munich will have to play more to Leverkusen to be able to get his services over there. And it obviously comes down to the player of what he wants and what he thinks, if he wants to do it with Bayern and have sort of like an easier run in with obviously maintaining trophies every year. It's such, it seems a bit not like an easier league, but it's more so because of how many talented players they have at Bayern Munich, and it depends whether he feels like he fits company sort of team. Whereas obviously there isn't a set spot where we desperately need a 10, because Soboslai is doing well there, and obviously we have Elliott. But we need players of his quality, sort of Coutinho-esque, to be able to open up the play and be that playmaking for us. So it's just, hopefully, I mean, I'm not going to put my eggs into a basket. We've been through this many times with different players, and I'm not putting my hopes up. It's just, if he signs the dotted line for Liverpool, that's great news. If he doesn't, then we move on, get someone else.
I know you're a bit like me, Patricia, and I don't know what the chat's like, but I know for fact people in our Talking Reds chat, there's still people that are getting very, very hopeful for this. And I've said, and they know they don't want to get hopeful for it, but they can't help themselves. And I've said, look, I'm not even saying anything. I'll give my opinion. I don't think it'll happen because I don't think we'll pay the money for it in the end. I think we've seen this scenario play out way too many times for my liking. Caicedo, Lavia, Bellingham. Bellingham will follow for 3 years. Everyone wanted him, saying we're doing all this we can to get him, and then all of a sudden we were surprised how much he was. So
yeah,
being played too many times, being hurt too many times in this situation. So if I was to ask you, if I was to tell you guys at home, I won't gaslight you. I'll be honest, I won't get too. I'm seeing a lot of people getting too like yes, we might actually, we've got a chance here. I'm still, I'd say 10% of a chance.
That's too high, that.
It seems low, but I'm being deadly serious. I'm going to say 10% of a chance of getting Wirtz. It might increase in the next coming days. Let's see what happens. But right now, I'm 10%. I'll be honest. I've been burnt too many times to, like I said, start the campfire once more. Did Real join the race for Wirtz? Yes, they did. Real deal. So according to Radio Marca, which is in Spain, Xabi Alonso wants Real Madrid to sign Florian Wirtz. So Real Madrid have entered the race for Florian Wirtz, probably the worst team for us to enter. But again, it's not just Real Madrid being a superpower club. It's not just Real Madrid having the pull themselves. It's the Xabi Alonso factor for me. Because if Xabi Alonso goes there, then obviously he's been his manager for the last 2 years at Bayer Leverkusen, and that's his star man. It makes sense for sort them to go together. I don't want it to make sense, but it does.
No. You'd hope that he would sort of listen to Frimpong and want to come to the Premier League and do something different. I mean, obviously, like I said, La Liga would be different for him. But the issue is, with Frimpong, we've had, obviously, the Dutch nationals to get into his ear. Our manager, also being a Dutch manager, and he's seen that we've won the Premier League. Is also because he used to play for City, and before he even went to City's academy, he was looking to come to us. And it seems to be that it's always been touted for him to come back to the Prem. He's always wanted to.
Make it in the Premier League, yeah.
Whereas Wirtz doesn't have that. Well, we don't know if he has that desire or not. Obviously, he's a German national, so realistically, Bayern would make the most sense. But it depends if he wants to spice things up and change it up a bit.
I'd love to change the whole football landscape. Oh, big up Jordan as well. Big up, welcome chat. If you are joining us in chat, make sure you do like the video, subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. But yeah, I do think that it'd be nice for us to shake the footballing world up, because Bayern Munich usually get what they want. When they would go for a German side player, when they go for a player that's played in the German league and that's doing well at another club, they usually get them.
Yeah.
Lewandowski, Hummels, players like that, they usually get what they want. Real Madrid certainly get what they want when it comes to transfers. When they enter a race of transfers, they usually get their player. Can Liverpool have enough? Are Liverpool going to be willing enough to break the footballing mold?
It's sad because obviously we're a massive name club, top five in the world. And thing is though, and I don't like to preface this so much, but FSG have grown us to a $6 billion to club. And the thing is, or is it like 5 billion? And the thing is, our name is massive. There's so many fans all over the world for Liverpool, and it's just for our club. It means more to the fans. What everyone says. Klopp said it when he came in, and obviously, if you become a Liverpool player or you stay a Liverpool player, that's sort of more of a legacy than it would be if you're just another player for another team. And I guess it just depends on what ambitions players have. Obviously, we know what Trent's chosen. That's on him. But someone like coming in, like Frimpong, he sees a future with us, and I value that a lot.
Do you think how do you see it? Obviously, I'm 10% that he's going to join Liverpool, especially with Real
Mm.
Madrid joining the race as well. But how do you see him leaving Germany? Because Sky Sports have confirmed that Sky Germany is saying basically to every day that is going to Bayern Munich. Do you think he'll leave Germany at all?
Potentially, and also
Give me a percentage. Give me a percentage. It's probably easier to.
percentage. I'm probably less than you on a percentage of whether he comes to us. So before Madrid came into it, joined the race for him, and Xabi Alonso wouldn't have gone there, I would have said maybe it would have been 70, 80% Bayern, 20 or less for us. Now that Madrid's joined the chase, I'm even giving us less than a 10% chance. I think that
I'll be kind.
it's yeah. The issue is obviously hopefully we've done the groundwork enough when he's come to England and he's spoken to Liverpool. See, the first reports were that he's gone to City, and obviously other reports said he's come to speak to Liverpool. So I guess it depends what's best for him and his family. Obviously, he hasn't gone to Madrid yet. He hasn't gone to speak to them yet. So I'm hoping it's more of a case of we've done enough groundwork to get in his ear and make him think whether like push Madrid out is between Bayern or Liverpool, and I hope that's the case. And then hopefully he chooses us, but yeah, I guess we'll have to see.
It's hard, isn't it? Because I've said it for many a time now that I don't understand why rivals say Liverpool are an attractive club. We are more than an attractive club. It's just whether we pay the money. That's what it comes down to in the end. And if you don't pay the
Yeah,
money, then all the groundwork you've done before is absolutely needless and pointless. We've got to.
I think.
What I want to know, what I want to happen now is if we are serious about Wirtz, make sure we are definitely going to pay that money because
Mhm.
we're just wasting our time in doing it. If we're not going to pay that money, pull out now.
Yeah, I think it's good that we're doing deals early as we are. Obviously, getting Frimpong sorted, potentially getting Kerkez sorted, getting those positions sorted that we need to. Obviously, we seem to have backing for slot. In previous seasons, we wouldn't have. We would wait until sort of late July, August to make any deals happen, which is kind of worrying. So it's good to see how we're acting fast now. I don't know if the club are thinking, right, we'll have this much set for Wirtz. If he chooses us, and so be it. But then if that doesn't happen, what players are we going to go for? So, and where are we going to build? It just depends whether he sees. Are we going to spend big on a number 9, and not so much on a 10, if we even get a 10 at all, or would it be spend a lot on Wirtz and then go a little bit on like sort of like a Sesko or whoever else? At the lap, I don't know. I'm hoping for bigger names than those, We'll have to see. Yeah,
Ekatike.
Ekatike.
Going for Kerkez. Do you think he will end up in a Liverpool shirt? I'm going to go to actually we are going to talk about Kerkez real deal. But make sure we do talk about Kerkez. Is going to be my next chain of thought. I do want to speak about someone that is definitely going to be in a Liverpool shirt though, and pretty much in the next, like I said, 24 to 48 hours. Jeremie Frimpong has reportedly had his medical today, successful medical. I've not seen anything massive. I've not seen any pictures. Normally, when you see medicals, you see pictures of them outside the training ground and things like that. But I've not seen anything like that. But I've just
No,
reports of journalists saying that we have had a successful medical for Jeremy Frimpong. How good is the signing for what, 30 million euro, 30 million pounds? Is it release clause? 35 million pounds release clause?
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, I think someone posted on Twitter, it's like 35 or X 35 mil is what we seem to go around for these like sort of really good players. Obviously, you get a
Same
few
amount
rubbish
private
ones in
equity, yeah.
there. Yeah, but it seems to be that we have these gems, obviously with McAllister and with Gravenberch, and I think with Frimpong it shows that we're willing to. We've shown Trent the door, sayonara, bringing someone in, and it gives a bit of competition to Bradley as well. Like I want Bradley to succeed, but where Frimpong is a bit more attacking orientated and is a bit more attacking minded, can cover on the wing to let Salah travel in centrally. I think that shows that Slot wants to change up his tactics. He might be fed up of hoof the ball up the pitch and see what happens. And that's a lot of what we did yesterday. So I'm hoping that bringing Frimpong changes our style. I know that people are concerned the fact that he's normally used to playing in a 5-back as a wing back, but I'm not too concerned about that. Obviously, it's shown the fact that Frimpong has been dribbled past around the same time as 4 seasons as what Trent has in one season, like 57 times in 4 seasons. Now, I know the Premier League will be different to the Bundesliga, but I still think with his pace and the fact that he's just willing to track back and put in the work to defend, I have a lot of faith in him. That's a great signing for me.
The one thing I do worry about, though, regarding like if we get a Frimpong, we're going to talk about Kerkez in a minute, like Real Deal said there, is the fact how attacking they are, and I think the importance of a DM this summer, a defensive-minded DM this summer, is going to be overlooked, and that's what I do slightly worry about. But I think it's a great signing. I think it certainly gives cover not just for Bradley and someone for Bradley to fight for the place. It gives cover for Salah, especially going to AFCON in January. I think it's a very, very good signing for the price he is. It's a steal for the talent that he is. It's just the system. I need to have I need to see it preseason. I think I need to see it preseason, and we got to go get a DM. Because if we don't get a DM and Kerkez comes through the door and Frimpong comes through the door, then I think that's a big, big mistake and a big. I think we're playing fire a little bit going into the season.
It is because it's obviously shown the fact that we're having to rest Maka, probably have to rest Gravenberch as well. He's obviously what the club have managed to do with him has been amazing. What Slot's managed to do, and in terms of the player he is, obviously get the best out of him. So I think it shows that maybe if we do go for a 6, who would we even go for? So someone like a Stiller, or obviously if Bajcetic comes back, he can learn off one of them. But I don't know if I fully feel that Bajcetic would be the player to sort of rotate with Gravenberch. I mean, because see maybe what he's done at, is it Palmer he's been at?
That's
Or
Palmer,
Mills?
yeah.
That's Palmer's, yeah. So I would like to see what he does in pre-season unless we loan him out again. But then it depends on where if we think we've got the right opportunistic signing to make it as a 6, as a rotation 6. So
Don't start this opportunity signing stuff. So yeah, let's talk about Kerkez and Mildo. You want to know about Kerkez? Let's get this one up here. Done for you. I knew this was going too good. Real can do one. I say it every time. Fuck Real Madrid. Every single stream I say this now. And I honestly, if you think that this is why I don't get me ups up. This is why I can't get me ups up anymore, because as soon as a team like Real Madrid comes in and snatch you away from you, it's just like it's always Real Madrid as well. That's why I can't stand them. Even like they were talking about Real Madrid looking at Kerkez the other day. I thought, don't you dare, because I think they've just got a new left back, but Kerkez was like
they
a back
did.
to that. So I thought, don't even think about it. Just why even bother coming after them? So let's get on to the Kerkez news then. So Conte, Mato, Moreto, Milos Kerkez is very advanced talks with Liverpool over contract terms. Fabrizio Romano have also said Liverpool have contacted Bournemouth for Milos Kerkez deal, with which talks now advancing. Liverpool are also completing the agreement on personal terms with Kerkez, keen on the move. Negotiations underway between clubs on the transfer fee. Also, then Douglas also said Man City want Bournemouth's £45 million rated left back Milos Kerkez, setting up a potential battle with Liverpool. So Liverpool are doing the groundwork again, just like Jeremie Frimpong. Advanced talks, need to sort of fee out, which is this is always going to be the case. It's always the same thing. We'll always do the groundwork first, make sure the player wants to come, and then we need to pay the fee. That's what it comes down to. I think we will do with Kerkez. I think we will do with Jeremie Frimpong. I have no issues on that. But again, Man City coming in for Kerkez. We can't, and this is, it's always the players that we don't have a free run at I worry about. Because if it goes to a bidding war or it comes to the point where we're pressurised to do something about it, we tend to not to. We tend to lose bidding wars or we tend to lose to other people. It's normally when we have a free run at players, it's okay. But I think we can get this one over the line, don't you?
Yeah, 100%. I think obviously we've done the groundwork with them. It seems to be that this has been put in place and set in place for a while. The fact that obviously we're in advanced talks is helpful. We're not joining the race to sign Kerkez. We've already started the race. It just happens to be that City are joining. I think what they're trying to do is just to put pressure on Liverpool. So then obviously then Bournemouth asks for more, and maybe we have to pay more. And that sees us come at a bit of a loss of more money. I don't know if that's their tactic or if they really are fully interested in Kerkez. Because obviously we haven't seen many reports to say that they were interested in before we started talking to him. So I'm hoping that he follows his captain, his national captain, and comes to us and can see. The thing is, for Liverpool, he can slot in straight away. He doesn't have to take someone's position or rotate with them. It will literally be your number one. Robbo can potentially be a rotation just in case, especially for like cup games, and then Simicast can go. That's my hopes, and I'm hoping that he looks at who City can have a left back like Ake and Vardiol and whoever else, and maybe he doesn't think, oh, I can take that spot from them. I'll go to Liverpool, who can go for go for the title again next season. So I'll have to see what he thinks, but yeah.
Yeah, Simicast was awful last night, wasn't he? It was absolutely awful
Terrible.
last night. I mean, just when you think, oh, come on, Simicast, do something. If you want to stay here, you got to prove your point. But it's just, I don't think he just confirms everything that everyone wants to happen in the end anyway. But thank you for coming, but it's never going to be that level that we need at Liverpool. That's just the issue. We definitely need a DM, says Tony here. We can't go into next season when just Gravenberch and everything is left on him. Well, Gravenberch is not a natural DM. That's his thing as well. We literally are on a player that's had to adjust his game, and he's done an amazing job. And just his game, I think Slot's done wonders with him. I think certainly I want him to start every single week, and or rotational at least. Either as a rotation at 8 or as a rotation at 6. I want to see Gravenberch most weeks. The issue is second half of the season he's dropped off a cliff. He's tired, he's knackered, so he even needs that rotation. And there's in games as well when he has been good as well in terms of the whole game. He's left massive gaps because he's not defensively minded. He wants to go forward, and that's what I want to see a bit more of Gravenberch going forward next season. Because that was the season. That's what the Ajax Gravenberch was. He was number 8 as a box-to-box player, and that's where I saw him at his best, at his confident best. Michael was linked to Saudi. Does that mean he's washed as well? Michael was going to Saudi. I can't see that happening, mate. I really can't see that happening. It was a crazy story. That's one of the crazy stories that has come out today. But I think there was reports about him keeping in contact with Saudi. I think he's not going to go there now, but it's sort of like open the door of like maybe in the future. Palahas here, what is wrong with Endo at DM? I think Anaslot will tell you that himself. And I like Endo. I think he's been a great signing. It's been great signing for what the money we paid for. He's done his job when he's had done his job. He's a squad player, but he's never going to be that DM that Liverpool need. He's not at the right age of his thing. I don't think he's the right profile, especially like Anaslot wants as a DM either. Can he control the game? There's not a chance he can. Especially when we're losing Trent, we need another controller in that midfield. My tinfoil hat says City want to up the price for Kerkez, so we don't have the money for Wirtz. Then they swoop in. You are diving down into a rabbit hole there, Freya. You are absolutely diving down into a rabbit hole. But I sort of get that a little bit. Are City going in for Kerkez just to up the price in general for him? So we're not going to pay the money for Kerkez. I don't know, but I think City do sort of not need a left back, but Vardiol plays left back and centre back, don't they? So I don't know. Are they just doing it
as well?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they've got a few that can play left back. Who do you prefer, Xavi Simmons or Ryan Cherki? If we didn't end up signing Wirtz, honestly, real deal. I prefer Cherki. I think Cherki is a little bit more talented and is cheaper. And I don't usually, I question sometimes we shouldn't go for the cheap options, although, but sometimes the cheap options are good options. 35 million for Mohamed Salah is a very cheap option. McAllister, 35 million, cheap option, but it was the best option. I think Cherki is slightly better than Simmons, and I think he's got more potential than Simmons. Plus, I'm just thinking if we're buying Frimpong, got Van Dijk, Gakpo, we're basically having a Dutch national team, and that
Yeah.
never works at club level. I don't.
Especially we even go
I
for
love my
Hatto as well.
I love my Dutch players and I love my Dutch managers certainly,
Mm.
but I don't want too many because it just.
Yeah, especially if we go for, especially if we don't get Kerkez and we go for Hatto as well. That's
That's
another
what I'm
Dutch
saying. You
player.
might as well divide the whole Dutch national team, and might as well just have. Yeah, that just. I don't think it'd work. I don't think it'd work. But yeah, who prefers? I would prefer Shirky. I won't say no to Xavi Simons. If I couldn't get Shirky done, or I went somewhere else, I wouldn't say no to Xavi Simons because I think he's certainly a very creative player and a very talented player. But I think Shirky is the kind of player that we need to beat low block teams. He
Yeah.
is like he's not a Wirtz. He's not better than Wirtz, but he's certainly up there in terms of me for creativity. So yeah, I would pick Shirky, and he's got a better eye for goal for me as well. So, but yeah, I think Wirtz is number one, but that's a dream signing. It's a signing that I think 10% might happen. So yeah, I think Shirky would be certainly one, and it also frees up money for elsewhere in the thing as well. So yeah, Hato, you mentioned Hato. He is another name on the list. If Kerkez doesn't go through, it's not a bad backup, Hato.
No, he can also play centre back, I believe, as well. I think he's quite
Yeah,
versatile and like that. He's more sort of like a Joe Gomez in a way. Obviously, probably better. But yeah, I think obviously I would like Kerkez to get down the line because that shows that we're willing to have overlapping or do overlapping runs and just play a different style of football. And annoyingly, as much as I don't like City, Pep has his players play really well normally. And I think obviously Slot's taken some of that with him when he what was that Feyenoord, and obviously when he's come to us. So obviously he's had Klopp's team for a season and has done really well with that. And now I'm thinking he's trying to mold it into his own with now the fact that we can bring signings that he actually wants. I mean, I don't think Chiesa wasn't a slot signing. That was just given to him. And he's had to sort of work
exactly.
with
Yeah.
an injury prone player. Whereas now he can make the signings that he kind of wants to mold into his team. So pacey wing backs or pacey fullbacks that can overlap and put in those balls to maybe like a central Salah or whoever we get at number 9, if it is a Sesko or whoever, and can sort of finish for us. And obviously we know that Frimpong has the end ability as well. He can put it in the back of the net. He does have an eye for the back of the net. So yeah.
And he certainly offers much more in attack. And I think he
Mm-hmm.
also gives Salah another way of playing, this ping pong. I think it
Yeah.
allows Salah to get more in the box, which again is very, very good to get Salah more in the box because he's one of the best finishers we've got. So we like relying on a lot of him for goals. So thoughts on Diaz to Barcelona? So yeah, according to Diarra Sport, Luis Diaz is Barcelona's top priority this summer. The transfer fee could be around 85 million euros. So as I said, they're about 70 million pounds, 75 million pounds. Diaz is crazy about the idea of signing for Barcelona. And one thing I will say about this, the only thing that gives it a chance of happening, Diaz going, is Wirtz.
Yeah, and to be fair, I know not a lot of people might agree with this, but I've never been massive on Diaz. He seems very predictable in where he's going. I know Salah's the exact same, where he cuts in on his left, but I think with Salah, he seems to be able to go like past his players more with a dribble. And same with Gakpo, very predictable because he would pass his players and seem to hold them off. I've never been a massive fan of Diaz, to be fair. And I do think seeing his part of his foot's out the door, he's always looking at the end goal being Barcelona. He's at what 27, 28 now, around that age. I think is at the point where we do take the money for him and see him gone. To be fair, get a Wirtz who can play left wing or a Cherky who can play left wing. Maybe even have Gakpo more as like the sort of sat on left wing that he was going to play every week. Just needs the minutes.
Yeah, Diaz, I mean, the start of the season was incredible. Him and Salah were the main two at the start of the season that was really saving us in games. He was the one that was really direct. He was like the Diaz, this is the Diaz that we want to see. And then from like about 2 months into the season till the last like I'd say 4 or 5 games, apart from like last 3 or 4 games. But before the Tottenham game, I think he was our best player 3 games in a row for me, man of the match. Everton game specifically as well. And we just don't see enough of Diaz. And like Patricia just said, he's 27 years old, going into his prime, but is there any more potential of getting better? And for me, Gakpo's number one winger for me in that spot. Rio's coming through as well. He could be pushed into the first team next season. I think Rio's much more confident trying to take players on than Diaz. The question is, I've always been the same about Diaz. If he goes, he goes. If he doesn't, he doesn't. I'm happy either way. I think he's good enough to stay, but I think we can get better. And if it means having to sell Diaz to get like the Wirtz, then that might have to be. We are sell to buy, remember, so we've got to somehow get the money for Wirtz. We've got to remember it's not just Wirtz either. Say Wirtz is £120 million, that needs paying for. But then we've got the other positions as well that needs paying for. If we rely on sell to buy, then a Diaz sale might have to come into the works. Real Deal says here, why can't we sign both Shaky and Simmons, both £100 million together? I don't think you understand our owners, Real Deal. We're looking to get one player in one position, never mind two in that. But yeah, I can't see us signing two like cams. Maybe that's his Shaky because he can play right, he can play left. I think you're asking a lot there. I think you're asking for. Yeah. I think it's either one or the other for me. 90 for Diaz says soccer wingman. Is that what you want, soccer wingman? Is that how much you want in for Diaz? Yeah. In fact, chat. Everyone in the chat right now, everyone in the comments, how much would it take for you to say yes to Diaz? How much should it take? I would take, if it is 80 million, 75 million, I think it's a good price.
Yeah. I'd take that. Maybe we inflate it a bit more for Barcelona, get them to pay a bit more. You know, league winners and all, they have a little bit of money to spend. I mean, rather than debt and all, but I think especially if that's their top priority, we bargain a little more, get more for Diaz, let him fund sort of hopefully a Wirtz or whoever, maybe multiple players to play multiple positions. Depends what we're valuing more, whether we value a 9 more or Wirtz more to cover.
70 says Freya, Nunes, Jota, Diaz, Chiesa. That's a lot to replace in one window. Yeah, I mean that's it. Sell 3, keep 1. Who would you keep? Who do I keep in that? No, I would actually keep Diaz in that.
I can't.
I want to say Chiesa. I think he's too injured, but I think Diaz offers more as a whole season than Chiesa would. And I would get rid of Jota and Nunes.
Yeah, I just feel like Diaz goes missing in a lot of games. And don't get me wrong, I know we haven't seen enough Chiesa to say anything, but and yesterday wasn't exactly the best sort of game for him. From he has that sort of desire to want to play, and I feel like we have got a player in him from what we bought him for. I do think we should cash in on Diaz now while we have the opportunity to. Otherwise, he may go to Saudi in future. I just feel like his head's not always focused on solely being with the club, where his future prospects are. Because I think Kie's just happy to be where he is and still work hard. It's just unfortunate we have an injury-prone player there. But yeah, Jota and Nunes have to go.
If you sell Jota and Nunes, in fact, bring this up one actually. You are talking. Diaz is way better than rubbish Gakpo. I think the thing is with Gakpo, I think it's better than Diaz because he's less predictable. Diaz is very, very predictable as a defender. It's easy to defend against him sometimes, unless he's on it. When he's on it, he's hard to defend against, but it's really rare he's on it these days. You have Per Patch at start of the season, Per Patch in the last 3-4 games of the season, and that's it. In between, it was shocking. And Gakpo was his goals and the way he was winning games by himself at times. Gakpo was it the Brighton game?
Yeah,
he did well in that.
He's also in the 7-0 win against United.
Yeah. Was it the Fulham game when he had a big impact on it? Gakpo, you know, when we went down to 10 men, we drew. Sure, Gakpo had a big impact on that.
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah.
If we sell Jota and Nunes and maybe Diaz, I think we can have. You're right on that, Deal. I do believe that if we sell all 3, then I think we have no choice but to look at certainly more players. I think Alvarez would certainly suit in that because again, Alvarez suits the striker position and he can outplay out wide as well. Alvarez, so I think that's why he's probably a big target for me currently. Let's get this one second, guys.
Imagine we sell Nunes.
Rio can't win your league, mate. We won the league with Nunes. Anyone can win your league, and I think I'm not saying start him every year, every week, but Rio as a backup to Gakpo is better than Diaz right now for me.
Yeah, I think Rio obviously he's only 17. We've got a class player in our hands there, though. Yeah. I think give him a few seasons and we'll see what he's like when he's 19, 20. Obviously, the fact that Slot's already integrating him in first team sort of training just shows how much, and especially because we've heard from Slot himself saying that we're going to see more of Rio next season, whether it's just cup games or he has some substitutes on. I don't know if he'll make his Premier League debut, but obviously if he plays a few games for us, swaps in, I think that'd be really good. Just to see how he is, just to pull players apart and then draw players out, just so then he can pass the ball off so for Salah to finish and have another successful season.
I was just thinking that really. I was thinking that actually. Parliament says I'd rather have Mbeumo, Wirtz, and Kerkez. I was also thinking like if Diaz were to go, if you're asking me right now, if I was ambitious enough, I'd say get Diaz, Jota, and Nunes all go, and I would replace them with two strikers and a winger. And the winger I'd replace that with Mitchell gets like an Mbeumo or a Semenyo or a Kudus, someone like that can play that is better than that. I think Kvaratskhelia would have been the perfect one, but we missed our chance with Kvaratskhelia in January when we could have got him. But like I said, I'm happy if Diaz stays. I'm happy if Diaz goes. Make sure we replace him with a good winger. That's the thing with me. But yeah, regarding the attackers, anyway, stick on the attackers. Two Bundesliga strikers that Liverpool have been linked with, and pretty much are looking like the front runners right now in terms of replacing Nunes up front. Frankfurt still demand 100 million euros for Hugo Ekitike, according to Florian Plettenberg, and according to David Kopp, Liverpool have a firm interest in signing Benjamin Sesko this summer, and the player would be keen on the move. Any potential deal would be linked to Nunes' departure. Is there any chance Nunes stays, by the way?
No. God, I hope not. And the annoying thing is, he's done so much stuff against the club where he'll sort of lash out, but then they will still play him over Chiesa, sort of still play him. And it's frustrating because we've given him 3 seasons, and obviously he hasn't improved. And maybe he's just frustrated, or he's just not understanding, or the Premier League might be too difficult for him. But I can see him sort of having a bit more success if he went to Madrid and we got Alvarez in. That seems like a good deal for us. He can get, I think Simeone can get the best out of him, whereas he just wasn't suited to us. He wasn't suited to Klopp, even though Klopp wanted him, and I don't think he was suited to Slot. So yeah, I think
I'll let you read that.
what sells Jota 40 million, Nunes 6 million plus Marsmar. Diaz sent even on that Spurs. Yeah, maybe. I'm annoyed that Nunes is going for less than what we could have sold him for. Really am in January. It's a shame.
6 million miles bar. You must watch me quite regular for you to say 6 million miles bar. But I absolutely like that. Nunes is a hothead, Paolo. Yeah, he's just got a shit attitude. This is why I didn't understand why Chiesa was never played above him until last night.
No.
Because
Yeah, it's
not only is
frustrating.
Chiesa better, is better attitude for number 2 as well. So
Yeah, and
I
I can
get
see
that.
someone's
I'm
comment
surprised
there.
only Rodrigo to replace Diaz. I think Rodrigo would be
Yeah.
an ideal one if we could get a Diaz. There isn't. I'd say there is better players out there than Diaz. I just think it's his age as well. I'd want to bring on someone that can potentially be better. I think that even the youngsters in like Matoma, for example, I think he can be better than Diaz.
Yeah, but I think like Real McCoy said, Rodrigo is a potential possible that we could even go for because he's having issues with not starting for Madrid. He's barely getting game time. And I think with us, he fully starts over Diaz. Especially if we sell Diaz on, that would be a great signing for us. I wouldn't know if he goes on a free or not. I don't know if he's in the last year of his contract or not. Not too
No,
certain on that.
I don't think he's going for free, but it's certainly coming down to 1 year, 2 years on the contract. I don't actually know that. I might look that up, but yeah, I think Rodrigo is a possibility, but depending, I think we're throwing that right now in the Wirtz camp, and if we do lose out on Wirtz, then Rodrigo could be one to look at because he can cover again, right wing, left wing, up front as well. And again, an ideal player for me and a world class player on his day as well. So several Bundesliga clubs. Let's move on to a defence now. So several Bundesliga clubs and teams for England are showing interest in João Quansah. A sale this summer is not ruled out. João Quansah, another poor performance again for me in tonight. Last night. It's just not.
Yeah.
It feels like he's gone.
It's a shame though because I had high hopes for him, especially with Klopp and his season. I think he did really well, stood up when we needed him, and I think we spoke about this last on the last time I was on with you and Nash, that it just something knocks his confidence. It seems to be he's not the same player as he was, especially at the start of the season against Ipswich being taken off. I think that really knocked him down as well, and I just don't know if he feels confident enough to take that position, especially with Kanate. I didn't think those two worked very well yesterday. They either played players on side or they just weren't where they needed to be. Whereas you can feel secure with Van Dijk at the back, and I just don't think he's learned from Van Dijk as well as he should have.
He had so much potential, and when he first came through Klopp, he actually pushed Kanate out of the team, didn't he? At the one point,
Mm.
when he first came through, Kanate was off it a little bit, and he actually pushed Kanate out of the team for me. And then since back end of last season, and then obviously this season, the Ipswich game got brought off at half time. He's just not been the same player. He's had a couple of decent games in between that. He's played at right back as well. But last night, again, another dreadful game. I think everyone had a dreadful game last night, but Quansah
Yeah,
thought it's your chance now. No pressure. We've won the league. Shows what you can do. And another terrible game for me. Look, Madrid won Alexis if we get Rodrigo. I don't even want to even imagine that parliament. So thanks for
no.
putting that in my head. But yeah, Alexis McAllister's got knowing nowhere. And even if Real Madrid have tried to get him, I will personally go to Liverpool myself and hold him down. I will hold him down. Alexis McAllister is the best midfielder we have, and we cannot let him go anytime soon. If he wants to go when he's like 32, then fair enough, but not now. Certainly not now.
No.
Thea says here, Quansah scares the crap out of me when he plays. I mean, that's last night. What made me think of last night is imagine if Van Dijk didn't stay.
Yeah. Oh God.
And
And the
this is
thing
why
that
it's
worries
so
me.
important. This is why it's so important to make sure we get a centre back in now.
Hmm.
Because
It
if we don't
worries
have,
me because
and when he does leave,
yeah, thing is like in the season we've opted or Slot opted to play like Endo or Jones at right back when we could have had Quansah to go there. So it just shows that maybe Quansah wasn't ready, he just didn't feel confident with him. He's played him yesterday to give him minutes, but just shows how he is. He just isn't fully ready. I don't know what it is, what's happened to him. And I don't know if
bit
he'll
like
ever go back.
have you ever seen Space Jam 1?
Yeah.
When they touch the ball and all the powers go. It's a bit like
Hmm.
that, but not as extreme. Because he's not that talented. He's not a Van Dijk. He's not a superstar the way they want. And because it was literally the stars of NBA, wasn't it, in Space
Hmm.
Jam? But it's that sort of thing where like, what has actually happened to you? We need a future Van Dijk, says Parliamenteer. And well, here we go. Liverpool are monitoring Everton's Jarrod Branthwaite, who has a valuation of £70 million according to Mail Sport. We looked at Jarrod Branthwaite last year, didn't we?
Hmm. And Gahey as well. But it
Potential of
seems
Van Dijk. He's not Van Dijk-esque, but he's certainly very, very good.
no. Yeah, I think we missed out on Hulson. I think he would have been a cracking signing for us if he had made the decision to come to us. But obviously, we've missed out on that one. And I don't know if it's the English tax on Gahey and Branthwaite that are just putting them a bit, Braithwaite, sorry, that are putting them a bit too high. I don't know if that's the issue or not. So unless Slot sees them as a definite sort of replacement, Virgil. I mean, we've also got Gertruda. We've got the centre back that plays for Sporting. I forgot his name. So
Ignacio, yeah. Gonzalo
or him and
Ignacio.
the other one as well. Yeah, so we have options to centre back. It's not like we're limited. I just don't think we've gone for
For,
the best option.
we've got Incapia, Leverkusen, yeah, a few, yeah. And I don't mind
Yeah,
Bamford, you know. I
so
think
there's
he's very,
options.
very good. Just again, £70 million when we're spending 100
Hmm.
potentially on just fullbacks alone. You're talking to fullbacks, said about 45, about £80 million, isn't it? Nearly £75 million for both fullbacks. Well, we're
Yeah.
going to pay £70 million for a centre back. And I like Gahey as well. I do like Gahey. I think certainly he'd be on the list, but it'd be further down the list, like Jarrod Branthwaite. I think there's others that are probably better. But
Hmm.
I mean, it would be nice to take one of Everton's best players. It's just so he doesn't have to play at Hill Dickinson's fucking stadium
Oof,
or
God,
Dickinson Hill, whatever it wants to be called.
horrendous. Yeah, I think you got it right the first time. What a horrible name.
Yeah, but yeah, £70 million of van for it.
Mm,
I wouldn't be looking at it just now. Not £70 million. Maybe if they put it down, I think Man United probably might go back in for him because I think Man United were the first ones on to go back in for him. So a player that could be leaving Liverpool as well after his words last night. It's quite sad that he is going to leave Liverpool. Harvey Elliott.
yeah.
This is what he said after the game last night. It's about what's best for my career. It's about reflecting and seeing what I can do. I'm here at the moment and I'm focusing on the final game. Is he
Yeah,
gone?
and probably, I think so. I would have liked to see Elliot succeed, and I would have liked to see him play a bit more for us. But it seems to all come back to his physicality. He just doesn't seem to have what it takes physically to succeed with us. He gets pushed over too easily. Whereas I think Jones can, obviously, he's a taller lad, can push players back. Obviously, maybe technically isn't as good dribbling wise as Elliot or um, as fast, but he's still. And that's what worries me about Elliot. I think he'll succeed at a club, maybe somewhere like Newcastle, Wolves, someone like that. Maybe even like an Aston Villa, where he can succeed, where he has the ability. But I just don't think he's Liverpool quality. He's tried with us, and I don't see it, to be fair.
And I think what confirms Elliott's leaving is the fact that we are interested in Wirtz because we are looking at a position. And Slot pretty much confirmed that Soboslai's an 8 last night as well. We are looking at a 10 certainly. Centre back, he has to be built like a tank, fast, calm, and savvy on the ball. So basically, Van Dijk, another Van Dijk. We have ignored the centre back for the few years. We need to get a few in ready for Van Dijk retire. Yeah, I think we need at least two. For me personally, and I would rather let Gomez go out of the two, out of him and Quansah. I'd have another chance with Quansah. I want to see if he can still do it. So I think you don't just lose your talent overnight. But I would bring in two centre backs personally, but I know we won't. We're looking to bring one centre back in, and we need to really focus on that Van Dijk retiring because he's only here for 2 more years, and that's it. It's done. Rubbish. Elliott Jones needs to ASAP need to go ASAP. I'm presume you put in there. Yeah, Jones would poor as well. Jones is never going to be a starter for Liverpool. He's
No,
never going to be a starter. I
I
don't
think we're
mind.
also looking at
I don't mind him as
Nyoni.
a backup. I don't mind him as a backup. I've always for the last 5 years, I've always referred to him as like the Nicky Butt of the Man United times. But he's just not that level, and he has his games where he's brilliant, but certainly not enough.
No.
Elliott too lightweight. Yes, Elliott is too slow. Also, Jones is fine. I think Elliott. It's too. What Elliott needs is two beast midfielders behind him, like two proper runners, two like people that'll just do all the hard work. And Gavin
Yeah,
mentioned McAllister well, but they're not like groundhog. You know what I'm saying? They're not those.
Fabinho-esque.
Yeah. Literally, we need a midfield three that all can do a little bit of something, but Elliott's
Yeah.
not going to do that. I think Elliott would absolutely shine in a team lower down. I certainly would. In that Crystal Palace team, I think he'd be fine. I think he'd be fine with Brentford. I think he'd be fine with
Mhm.
Bournemouth. He just needs to find his team, really, for me. Here to replace Van Dijk. He's now 19, and he will be ready to learn in 2 years' time. But I think Hato's definitely one I'd certainly look at. Again, like you said, he can play centre back, he can play left back, and we need versatile players at Liverpool because we usually have a short, poor depth, so we need versatile players. Elliott, Jones, Nunes, Simicas, Quansah, taxi waiting outside. Very, very kind words there from Polo Mint. Quite blunt as well. But I want to talk about last 10 minutes, though. I want to talk about his last night's game because I haven't done a match reaction. I usually do, but today I didn't get time to do a match reaction. It was a late one last night, so I haven't really done a match reaction for last night's game. But I know you weren't happy because you were messages in the chat as well. But yeah, I can't. A lot of fans out there will say, "Oh, it's just nothing. It's nothing not to worry about. It's just that, and they're all days." But really, when you really think about it, I'm in a balance here. I'm trying to work out like I'm happy because we won the title, yes, and I get that as being on holiday and things like that. So I don't really care about the result, but I'm still like my sportsman mind and my sort of standards mind is thinking it's simply not good enough again.
Yeah, 100%. And I would have liked for us to win. I think it shows when, especially last week, when we were 2-0 up on against Arsenal, and then complacency took over, and it seems to be the same thing again. The players just think we've won the league, so what's the point? But what annoyed me more yesterday than the Arsenal game did is that we had players that don't usually get game time, like Elliott, like Chiesa, who you think would want to go out there, have some fun, and show sort of why they should be regularly playing more often. And it bothered me the fact that Chiesa was slow to get to loads of things, and when he did, he would seem to like back out of a challenge just because he didn't want to get injured or something like that. Whereas you see McAllister get stuck in, you see Nunes get stuck in. Granted, there's no end product there, but it just seems to be that with Chiesa, he just was a bit scared, a bit reluctant, and it seems to be the whole squad just didn't sort of work very well. We were very open at the back, very slow and lethargic, and no one wanted to track back to try and we were very happy to what's it called to do an offside press, but we weren't happy to catch up to when they did get onside. And so many times did Brighton look like the better team. So many times I had like zero faith in us, and it's really embarrassing because you want us to do very well, to have the points there, to look back at the season when Arsenal cry again and Arteta does. Well, we have the points to show for it, but it seems to be that we're partying too much, Summer of '66 style, and not really caring about the games, the things that matter.
It shows weak underbelly and poor attitude lays it in title, says Paul and Mint. And I get that, like, even Soboslai came after the game and said one team, they wanted it more. And that, for me, is simple as a Liverpool fan. I can't hear that because it's like, why are you not wanting it? And like I said, Brighton have some sort of something to play for, try to get as high up as the league. We don't really have anything to play for. But
No.
at elite level sport, and Slot will certainly have these standards. I'm sure Slot won't be happy with last night's performance. I'm absolutely certain Slot won't be happy with that last night's performance because he's got massive standards. And that standards, regardless, whatever it takes, is that's the way it should be. Like when my season starts again in preseason friendlies, I want that standard set up here first, so it sets on for the. We've got to look at next season as well. This could be seen as like preseason sort of thing. It's sort of like who wants to be here? Who wants to be here next season? Who can show me that they're good for next season? And these players, like you said, the French players, the players that had a chance, they've not really proven the point. They did it against Chelsea when they had the chance against Chelsea. Didn't prove the point. And this is why we need big changes this summer. And it has shown that we need absolute investment this summer going into next season. But one thing that things and people say, oh, it's because they've been all day, it's because they've won the league already. We've been shit for the last 2 months. 2.5 months. Bar the Tottenham game. In fact, in the last 3 months, since about February, I want to say, I say the only good games we've had really is Tottenham, Man City, and Newcastle in the league. Other than that, we've either scrounged wins, somehow getting through wins. Even like the game before Tottenham, Fulham outplayed us. So there is worrying signs there. I'm not saying it's all about last night. I'm absolutely worried last night. I'm panicking, so we lost. Then they've been all day. They've been in Dubai. They've been in Ibiza, whatever they've done, and we have won the league. But if you're honest as a fan, there is signs there saying that's not good. It's the wrong mentality.
Yeah, standards have definitely dropped last night. It's a shame because I really had high hopes for Chiesa and Elliott coming on to prove to Slot. And even then, like even with Quansah and Konate, at first I thought, all right, we'll give them a go, see how they do. But it just seems to be that they just had nothing in them. Just didn't really want to do that well for us, and it was just a massive shame. We show how much we need Virgil at the back, and we need McAllister to sort of hold that midfield and create chances for us, which weren't getting. And one thing that really annoyed me is we went back to sort of what we did against Klopp's final season. Is we just played a lot of hoofball, we just push, kick the ball up the pitch and hope something happens. That really frustrated me because I was hoping that players would pass it short and sort of do a sort of tiki-taka sort of play and push that way up the pitch when it just wasn't. And it seems to be whether find Salah or don't find anyone at all. and we just pass it back. And Simicast did that so much, and it's infuriating when he'd look up and just go, I'm just going to go back. Yeah, angered me.
That's one thing I don't like about Slot's tactics. And Slot is not, he's a brilliant manager. And someone said, here, Slot out. There's no Slot out here. But what I'm saying is, I do criticize him on certain tactics where it's too conservative, it's too trying to keep the ball, it's too Pep Guardiola. And I keep saying all the time when I talk about Pep Guardiola, he's ruined the likes of Foden, he's ruined the likes of Grealish because it's too tactical minded, it's too like keep the ball, keep the ball, keep the ball. I don't want to do that. Go and fucking attack these teams. When we're on a counter, don't end up passing backwards within 2 seconds of a counter attack. I don't want to see that. Let the players play. And if we're getting someone like, say it happens, get someone like a Florian Wirtz, we're going to ruin him by holding back too much because he's not going to be able to play the pass that he wants to do. Slot, as brilliant as he is tactically, he really needs to up his man management. Seems like he can't inspire young players backups like Klopp did. I mean, yeah, Klopp got the best out of everyone. While Slot's getting the best out of the first 11 and a little bit more, Klopp got literally the best out of everyone. And he performed miracles with teams that simply, some players weren't good enough at times. Parliament said he'd been shit since PSG. I think it was before that. Even before Plymouth. We've been poor since about before Plymouth. Like, just getting over the line with some games. We've been, like I said, the 3 games that stand out for me in the last at least 3 months is Man City in the league, where we beat them away. Newcastle at home, I think the game after Man City, we beat them at home. And the Tottenham game, absolutely thrashed them. Other than that, I can't remember a really good game that we played.
No, that's a shame. We don't seem to be as much of like comeback kings where we were with Klopp's our final season. Was that 21 or 22 comebacks, like from going a goal down to then winning it 2-1 or 3-1 or whatever it was. Whereas obviously we did concede first yesterday, but it just seems to be that we're inviting the pressure, and that's what I kept saying in the chat. We're just inviting more and more pressure and having to, and we're not pressing. It really annoyed me watching Quansah and Konate just stand back and no one's going to the ball. I was hoping Bradley would, and he did a couple of times, but it's just they're just letting them come to us, get to around the 22, 20-yard point, and just let them have pops, shots against Alisson. And we just weren't doing the same. It just seemed to be just hoof at the pitch and see what happens there.
Yeah, when Konate did get attracted to the ball, it cost us a goal because that second goal was massively on him because Bradley had it covered at that side. He had one-on-one defender, Bradley, and then Konate came on to join him like a 2-on-1, and then Konate left his man. Massive space. But this is what I'm saying. Is this what's going to happen when Van Dijk's not there? Is it all going like all this organisation at the back? Does it just get thrown up in the air? And that's a big worry because if I hope not. Touch wood. If Van Dijk gets injured next season, is that it? We're capitulating.
Seems to be. He obviously shows the leadership that we have at the back with him. He has a structure that keeps the structure there. So you see Slot's sort of low block being interpreted into the team, but when we're leaving, like you said, Konate pressing with Bradley, it just opens up space that we can't afford to give to the player, like especially a team like Brighton with their pacey technical players.
And I want to put this out because Arsenal have also they struggled in defence. In attack, but Gabriel's been out, but they haven't struggled massively in defence. They've still sort of kept it solid at the back.
Mm-hmm.
But are we relying on massively on Van Dijk to stay fit at the age that he is?
Yeah.
That is a big worry, and certainly in 2 years. And if he's not replaced within that time now, in 2 years, then we could be in serious trouble. We need to make sure we get a really, really good centre back to come in to replace him as well. What are the chances with 50% or 9%? I actually answered this earlier on in the stream, Parliament. It was actually 10%. 10%. It was maybe about 15, but Real Madrid have entered the race now, so it's gone down to 10% at the moment. I just don't think we'll put the money down, if I'm honest. I'd like to believe so. I wish it was at least 50. I wish, but it's. I've got to be honest with you guys. I'm not going to gaslight you. 2 more years of Van Dijk. There's no replacement for him at the moment in world football, but we've got to create that replacement. Then we've got to bring in someone that's got potential.
To learn.
It might not ever be Van Dijk level, but he's got to be good enough. It's very rare you're going to get a Van Dijk level. Van Dijk's probably the best centre back in my lifetime in the Premier League, in his prime. So we're not going to get a Van Dijk. We've just got to get the best thing that could be out there, the best chance we can get out there. We got more points second half of the season, first 17 versus second 17. I just think we grounded out a lot. I think we played better in the first half. I think we grounded out massively in the second half of the games. And we have slightly took the foot off the gas, but I think we've just been poor in most games anyway. You're right. We're like heavy on Virgil. Best look for ×2. Yeah. I mean, last night showed that. The organized once the Virgil went there, it was chaos. Absolute chaos.
Definitely is. Mm.
Also, Grabber went there as well. Pretty much, apart from Kanate, it was our usual back line. I do slightly worry about. I don't want to say it, but I do slightly worry about Bradley. At least Frimpong's coming in. But yeah, I think Bradley gets cut out quite a bit sometimes.
I don't really have as much concern for Bradley as I did with Trent at the back. I have a bit more faith in him. He has the ability to be able to slide tackle, and get it correct when he does. Obviously, players commit fouls, but I just feel like I feel more secure with Bradley. I think Frimpong was a necessary purchase, a great signing, and I think those two will differ in style. Whether we do sort of utilize Frimpong as a Salah replacement when he goes to AFCON or whatever, or he does step in for Bradley, but as a more attacking, maybe starts the games, and then once we've got 2-3 goals, Bradley comes on to secure the defence.
Yeah.
I have no issues with Bradley myself, to be
fair. Freya said here, better having Van Dijk than 2 years. Of course it is. Of course it is. I dread the day when Van Dijk does leave. That's why I'll panic in this summer if he did leave. Big trouble. Who to replace him though? There's plenty of centre backs out there that's got potential, but like I said, they don't have to be the next Van Dijk. It's going to be very hard to be the next Van Dijk. They just have to be they have to be good enough, basically, for Liverpool. That's what they
Same
have
with
to be.
Salah.
Yeah.
Same with Salah.
Exactly that. So that has to be the next Salah, but they have to be good enough for Liverpool. That's it. Thank you everyone for watching. Make sure you do. Can we question the coaching that weak defence? Potentially, yeah. You can always question the coaching no matter what. They're not perfect coaches. Whatever happened to those strong Gordon rumours last year seems to have died down. We'll probably see it again, Pradeep. Don't you keep that in mind? Bookmark that note that you just put there, Pradeep. It'll probably come back up this summer. Certainly, Gahey and Gordon. Thank you everyone for watching. Make sure you do like the video. It helps out massively. I appreciate everyone that does everyone that's coming to the chat tonight. It's been It's been very, very busy tonight in that chat. I absolutely appreciate everyone that comes in. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for subscribing as well. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel. If you are new, we are live every single night. And make sure you do smash that like on the video as well. It would help us out massively in our reach goal to 500 subscribers. I want to grow a big channel here for you guys at home. I want to give you the best content we can. And like I said, the bigger we get as a channel, the better content I'm going to get. Trust me, guys. The content is going to be unbelievable. The plans I have for this channel is very, very good content. I just need to get it up to the place I want to get to. So thank you everyone for watching. Thank you so much, Pradeep. Great chat, fellas. Cheers. Have a great